Let's kick things off with a story. And I bet this one is going to hit a little too close to home. It's about you, your money, and that nagging feeling that no matter how much you make, it's never quite enough.
I want you to think back a few years. You were making less, maybe living in a smaller apartment, driving an older car, and you probably had this thought, right? Man, if I could just make X amount of money, say 70 grand a year, I'd be set. All my money stress would just disappear.
And guess what? You did it. You crushed it. You got the promotions, put in the work, and you flew right past that goal. You've got the nicer place, the better car, you're going out to eat more. On paper, your life is objectively, measurably better. And yet,
here's the crazy part. If you're really being honest with yourself, you might feel even more stressed about money now. The goalposts have moved and you're already thinking about the next income target. Now listen, this isn't because you're bad with money or ungrateful. This is a totally normal human experience, a psychological bug in our system that we really need to talk about.
Okay, so let's dive right into this paradox. What is this never-ending race we're all on? Why does it feel like the faster we run financially, the more we stay in the exact same place emotionally?
I'm going to say it again. This isn't some personal failing. This feeling of constantly chasing the next financial milestone, well, that actually has a name. It's like there's this invisible machine running in the background of your life, and it's time we finally put a name to it.
It's called the hedonic treadmill, and it is the piece of psychological programming that keeps us chasing more and more and more, no matter how much we already have. Honestly, understanding this one concept can change everything.
So here's the core idea. Our brains are basically adaptation machines. We have this default setting for happiness, and no matter what happens, good or bad, we tend to drift back to it. It's a survival mechanism, but it makes lasting happiness from external stuff, like a pay raise, incredibly difficult to hold on to. And this isn't just a theory. There was a famous study back in 1978 that looked at lottery winners and accident victims. And what they found was shocking. About a year after their life-changing event, both groups had returned surprisingly close to their original happiness levels. The lottery winners weren't even that much happier than a control group. It's not a money problem, it's a brain problem. And your brain runs this exact same program on every single raise you get. In January, you get that pay bump, and you're on top of the world. By March, yeah, it's still pretty good. But by July, it's just your salary. It's the new normal. And by the fall, you're already wondering how you can get the next one. The whole cycle takes just a few months.
Okay, so let's move from the psychology to the cold, hard numbers. Because it's one thing to talk about this as an abstract idea, but it's another thing entirely to see how it's actually playing out in your bank account.
Some landmark studies, one from Princeton you might have heard of, found that yes, emotional well-being does rise with income, but only up to a point. That point is around $95,000 a year in today's money. After that, the returns just plummet. Doubling your income from $100,000 to $200,000 gives you a tiny fraction of the happiness boost you got going from 50 to 100.
And here's exactly how that happens in the real world. You get a fantastic raise, from 60 to 80 grand a year. Awesome. But what happens next? Well, you move to that nicer apartment. You get a new car payment. You start eating out more, maybe because your friends with new, higher salaries are doing it too. And all of a sudden, you look at your budget, and you have less cash left over at the end of the month than you did before. That is lifestyle inflation, and it's the hedonic treadmill in action.
And if you think this is just something that happens to a few people, get this. A 2023 report found that 52%, more than half, of Americans making between $100,000 and $150,000 a year are living paycheck to paycheck. Another survey found about a third of people making over 200 grand feel the same way.
And that right there proves it. This was never an income problem. It's a psychology problem. These are not people who can't afford their bills. They are people whose lives have automatically expanded to eat up every dollar available, and they're all convinced that true financial peace is just one more raise away. But the treadmill doesn't have a finish line. That's the trick.
So, this is the big question, right? How do you get off this thing? How do you break the cycle and find some real financial peace without, giving up on your career? Well, there are actual, concrete strategies you can use to change the rules of the game.
First, and this is a big one, research is overwhelmingly clear that spending money on experiences, travel, concerts, learning a new skill, brings way more lasting happiness than buying more stuff. Why? Because you adapt to a new car. In a few months, it's just your car. But you can't adapt to a memory. An experience becomes a part of your story, a part of who you are, in a way that a new couch never can.
Okay, here's another mental trap we have to avoid. the arrival fallacy. This is the voice in your head that says, once I get that promotion or once I hit that net worth number, then I'll be happy. But it's a lie. The research shows that humans are happiest when they are making progress toward a goal, not after they've already achieved it. The joy is in the journey, not the destination.
So here's the playbook. 3 actionable things you can start doing today. 1. Create a lifestyle anchor. This just means you decide before you get your next raise what you're going to do with it. Commit right now to investing, say, 50% of all future pay bumps. This stops lifestyle inflation before it even starts. 2. Practice negative visualization. It sounds weird, but just take 60 seconds every now and then to imagine your life without some of the things you take for granted. It's a powerful antidote to adaptation and a massive gratitude booster. And 3. Use your money to buy back your time. Pay for the meal delivery service, hire someone to do the yard work. Time is your most precious, non-renewable asset. Buying more of it is one of the best investments in happiness you can possibly make.
At the end of the day, that hedonic treadmill is a relic. It's an old survival mechanism that helped our ancestors in a world of scarcity. But today, it just keeps us running in circles, endlessly chasing more. And the only way to win that game is to realize you can't win by running faster. You win by understanding your own programming, deciding what enough actually means to you, and choosing to step off and walk a different path. A path based on experiences, on progress, and on time. Now that is a race you can actually win.